Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We are going to be looking at the most active stocks on Yahoo Finance today. First, we are going to be starting with Nvidia. I just want to say if you, for some reason, have never heard of Nvidia, this is your first time hearing about it. If you're just a new trader and you're a person who's trying to understand what you should do, you pretty much always want to own at least the leading names of the day. Sometimes it's been Apple, sometimes it's been Microsoft, sometimes it's been Cisco. I mean, at one point it was Kodak. Right now it's Nvidia. And if you lose money in Nvidia, that's literally on you at this point. This is probably going to be the easiest trading that anyone could do. And the reason why, at least for right now, is that the market has all signs of bullishness. Nvidia continues to break out. And Nvidia has been one of those names that people are just looking to as essentially a bellwether of an entire sector of growth that exists in the market. So if we look at what's been going on in the price here, the thing that I'd say that I like the most is that over the past, I'd say 5 days or so, 6 days, we've seen the price be in the red lettering with the white background, which means that it's 3 standard deviations above its mean, or the black lettering with the red background, which means it's 2 standard deviations above. That's incredibly bullish. Now, the price has started to fall below the 5-day moving average, but I really like what I've seen over the past few days here, this basing period. We've had, out of the 4 last days, 3 of them have been like down, which has been really good. On the 5-day rolling average, we're nearly at like breaking, like rolling negative like we have previously. Even on the 15-day, we're getting down there. I like where we are on the 1 month. We're not as crazy as we were before, where it was double digits, high double digits. We're still really bullish in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term on NVIDIA. If I look at the bullishness here in terms of the trend, we're bullish intermediate, longer term as well. I'm going to say the thing that I appreciate the most about it, most likely, is that in the rolling sentiment right now, we've been on a falling bear. Now, this can be because, at least with my indicators, I have some trouble dealing with things that are going to just continually be bullish. The reason why is because this indicator generally will peak out around 60% and generally peaks out around 40% at the bottom. The reason why is because you have to think like bullishness and bearishness are essentially always in a tug of war. You're never going to get 100% bullish, never get 100% bearish. So 50% is essentially going to be the mean reversion that you're going to fall back into. This indicator just has trouble when you get too far away from it. Now, if we're looking at the overall signals, I will say I do appreciate that on the bull key 3, we've got 5 of them most recently, 4 on the bear key 3. This is again going to be wiggling around because essentially what we've seen, if we think about NVIDIA, it's just been breaking out to higher highs. It's just been continued bullishness. I mean, maybe you'd say it was here in September. Maybe you'd say it was here. Maybe you'd say it was here, depending on when you think in terms of the size of the waves. If you're a person who pays attention to that, I do not. If you pay attention to the waves of how this thing has been moving, that's absolutely fine. But Nvidia's just been bullish. I mean, the thing that I like about it too, if we're going to look, let's go ahead and look at our quick overview. I want to look at the trade range real quick. The trade range, I love that there's low volatility in this breakout as well. I love that the volatility is rolling down. I love that the correlation has gone negative, which means the price is going to go sideways to up. I love that the top of the range is going up. I mean, Nvidia just has all of the signals, all of the symptoms of everything that's very, very bullish in this market. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Tesla. I mean, Tesla also, I mean, if you're going to talk about a stock that's at one point been the market, Tesla has had that when it's in its own right, has been the most important stock inside of the entire market, which I know that Elon loves. And I think it's a really good stock for people to like. So I made this a little bit smaller just because I'm on a smaller monitor. So if we're thinking here, and I'll zoom in actually even for myself. So if we're thinking here, this was the day, the 24th of October, this is the day that everything changed in Tesla. The reason why is because you can see on the 1 month, or on the 1 day, 5 day, 15 day, 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month, you all went positive on the same day. Obviously, it was a humongous day. It was up 21.9% just that one day. But I mean, if you think about it, it was at 260. The price is now at 330. I still would have rather bought at 260, even 269 the next day. You could have waited and gone into when it was in the green here and been down in the mid 240s. That actually would have been a great price to buy too, before you essentially got a $100 move all the way up here. Now, the thing that I'll say about Tesla, and I think I said this in one of my previous videos, either last week or earlier, is that I just expect some mean reversion. The type of move that we've seen has been absolutely nothing short of remarkable. Well deserved. Obviously, the individual stock itself and has a great company, great products, great leadership. Everybody loves it. But it continues to get catalyst from the leader as well. Now, if we think about where we are from a signals perspective, we're still going to go along in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. Looks nice. We've now gone bullish officially in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. That's fantastic. The bullishness is a new phenomenon as well, which is even more bullish when you think about it, especially when we think about what we just saw in Nvidia. Nvidia is flipping from a rising bear or from a falling bear to a rising bull. This thing has clearly already made the flip. Tesla is just a juggernaut right now in terms of the type of growth. I think it was up 44% in 5 days last week or something crazy. If we look at it from the bull and bear Q3, I don't know, the last time we got a buy signal, we got some sell signals here. We didn't get a buy signal yet, but that buy signal came then. I always love, for me, the 1 month bull trigger is very nice, and so is the Swift bull. The Swift bull is very nice, but the moves that you've seen in Tesla, this thing is not built for the type of move that you've seen in Tesla. This thing is not built to see gap downs, gap ups, fall downs, gap ups, and then just like these types of gaps. This model is not built for, because the moves that you're seeing here in Tesla, these are not common for stocks that are trillions of dollars. Like I don't know who needs to hear that, but that's not normal behavior of any stock that's worth more than maybe a few $1 billion. I mean, that's not true. I mean, maybe 50 billion now, just because there's so much liquidity. But like the idea that this is a $1 trillion company that's gapping open, that is insane. Just from I can't even do the math in my head of like how much money that is just moving every single time. If we're looking here at the daily sentiment looks like. See, the thing I like about Tesla too, though, you're not even at 60%, you're at 58%. I covered that before, but you're not even the volume. The volume is breaking out with the price. I mean, the volatility is breaking out, the correlation is breaking out, everything's breaking out. The top of the range, the only thing that you're going to get most likely is some mean reversion, but I mean, the top of the range is still screaming higher at 356. There's just so much to say about Tesla. It's such a remarkable company, such a remarkable stock. I hope you're long. I really hope you're not short. And if I'm going to be honest about what I hope you're not short, I really hope you're not short this Rocket Labs or whatever this is. Rocket Labs obviously had an amazing day. I saw it earlier today. Obviously, it was up 28% just today. I was looking at it earlier today. I think it was up like 40 or 50% at one point during the day. I couldn't believe it. Because again, this is a small company, I believe. Like this is a properly small company. Let me look. So this is, yeah, like this is a $9 billion company. There's the market cap. This is a $9 billion company. That is a reasonable gap up. Okay, like for whatever we saw today, whatever this 28% up in one day was, that's a normal move for a sub $10 billion stock. That is not a normal move for something that is $1 trillion. Okay, I digress. Now we pay attention. Now we pay attention to what is it, Rocket Labs? I just love this because you can see here red lettering with the white background. This thing, Rocket Labs, has been on a tear ever since it looks like the end of October. It looks like the first day of November was really. I mean, you should have bought. We'll see what my signal would say. Right now, let's go long in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. When was the bullishness? The real bullishness, I'd say, was here. I'd say this. It was here when it really got going inside of August. That would have been if I'm looking at if I'm looking at where I expect my signals to pick up the most, that would be exactly where I got a buy signal. Like that would be exactly, and I haven't had, yeah, I don't think I've had a sell signal. I don't know what these are, but I don't think I've had, yeah, I haven't had a sell signal. So it should be this would definitely be, let me see. But yeah, I'll focus on that later. But I definitely think there is definitely a buy signal there. I can definitely see exactly why that would be on that day, because when you get a flip like that, when you get a flip where you come out of a little bit of bearishness, and this thing really has never been bearish, if I'm to be honest. This thing has pretty much always been bullish. The Rocket Labs, I don't know what this thing does, but people have known since the beginning, or at least back here in 2024 was $4. This thing has just been on a ripper. And what I love, the thing that I love about Rocket Labs right here, I'm going to go back to today's data. The thing I love about this is that you see the breakout in volatility. This day here, the 19th, was an absolute low in volatility, and it broke out the next day, and it didn't look back. And the volatility started to rise. And when that happened, and you got that signal, is priced to rise almost the entire time since. You've had this little bit of a period here where the price was to fall, but ever since then, you've essentially had just price rising, at least in the future price path. And the price has just essentially been on the easiest and gentlest trend. And those are my favorite ones, the low volatility trends. The volatility in this thing actually won't be that high. It's actually going to be really low. It's going to be trending, but that move that we're seeing, I mean, you go long, go long, go long. We're thinking we're bullish, we're bullish, we're bullish, we're bullish. I mean, Rocket Labs, what a move. Especially when you consider that this thing has been, but like, and I brought this up earlier on, this indicator really doesn't like to go above 60% and really can't go below 40%. And the problem that this indicator has with something like Nvidia, it has the exact same problem with something that is just obnoxiously bullish. Like it wants to bend, but it can't break because the bullishness is so extreme that like you can't even envision. I mean, on these small stocks, I've definitely seen it get to 70%, 72%, somewhere in there. Like that's the highest I've seen on this one is 69.5. You're going to just get mean reversion naturally. Like there's just no system that exists in the world where things can just grow to the sky. That's just not how trees work. So It's interesting. Let's do the quick review. I mean, what I love, the problem that I'd say that exists now is that you're just above the trade range. You're above the trade range, and that's the problem. You're going to definitely mean revert. The correlation is negative. I mean, it's coming positive. You can see the correlation is coming positive while the volatility is breaking out. That's very. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And what was it? You 120, and today's volume was the highest volume of all time on a breakout. Yeah, that's crazy. I will be very interested to see what happens to Rocket Labs tomorrow. The reason why is because it doesn't look like it closed near its highs. It looks like there's a lot of selling. There was a lot of selling from this price, which is that normal? Oh, because there's overhead supply. Okay. Now it makes sense because there's a lot of people at 20. Now it makes sense. So we're probably going to break through, but that makes sense when there's so much selling. Yeah. Rocket Labs, actually much more convinced now that I looked at it. Now let's look at Rivian. Rivian is such a fascinating company too to me because this thing is like the Snapchat. This thing is like Snapchat, but of electric vehicles. It can't get high, but it always has these crazy days. Like the move, like even the chart that we're seeing here. This is such a remarkable chart for Rivian. You've had such highs into the summer, and then you essentially collapse, and now it looks like we are back. We are back, and I can say that this is actually I like this. I like this because what I'm seeing is a sudden break. Like we went from 10 to 12. I mean, it seems like a big move because yes, it's up 13%, it's up 23% in a week. But it's still negative on the 3 month. It's just now gone positive on the 6 month. I mean, obviously a lot, but um this is really nice to see. This is really, really nice to see, especially from Rivian. When you consider what Tesla's already doing, oh yeah, you're going bullish here, go long, go long. You're going to get rid of those go shorts. That's going to be fantastic. And you're probably coming from a low level in this indicator. You're getting a rising bull, but I love that at one point this was much lower. If we look, yeah, you've got two buy signals here. Yeah, you got your 1 month bull trigger, which I love. Small bull, big bull, that's okay. But like really, it's the buy signals in the 1 month bull trigger. You're just flipping out of a 1 month bear trigger too, which I appreciate because when you get those signals close to each other, that just means you're getting some serious chop. What that's generally going to mean is that you're going to be in the equivalent of what looks like a transition from a bullish to bearish kind of look. You're going to signal both a bearish and a bullish trigger because it's the chopping. I love that the volume was here today too. Yeah. It's just fascinating. Oh, and what we considered when we looked earlier, just at the other one at Rocket Lab, we were talking about the volatility falling down and then being a catalyst for a really big move. That's exactly what's happening here in Rivian. This is why I feel like this is early in the move because what's going to happen is this volatility is going to start to break back out. It's going to build another hump. This correlation, which is currently negative, is going to flip and start to go positive, and then you're going to get a really nice move for quite a while inside of Rivian. That's at least how I'm going to look at it because when I look at this chart, when I look at the trend here, the thing that's really that points out to me is that the volatility was falling, so the range was getting really tight. The volatility is now going to break out while the price is breaking out. Those are my favorite types of breakouts. I mean, if you ever want to listen to like the turtle traders or any serious trend traders or any serious swing traders, but really traditionally it would be traditional trend traders, especially Jerry Parker talking about volatility expansions and getting into low volatility um, trends and then having them expand and then being able to ride them for a long period of time. That's exactly what Rivian is displaying. Now, that's how I'm going to view it. This isn't financial advice by any means. This is just a guy in like a chart and like a bunch of stuff that he's looking at in his basement, essentially just on a model that I built. But if we look, like Rivian looks pretty good. Yeah, let's see what we got going on here, Mara. Mara is an interesting one because I don't know if this is a Bitcoin miner. I don't look at these things fundamentally. I don't know if Mara is a Bitcoin miner. I don't know if Mara is some sort of like, I don't know what Mara is exactly, but I know Mara is something that matters in terms of the world of Bitcoin. So if I look, the price here, ooh, so you're not on here for good reasons, unfortunately, Mara. The reason why you're on here is because you're down 14% today. And the reason you're down 14% is because you were up 30% 2 days ago. So goodness gracious. See, a gap up on a stock like this is super normal, but this type of move is not anything to be trifled with, only because you were at 25 a couple of days ago. You could have bought at 15, could have bought at 19. You could easily round trip to 15 or 19. Right from 21 right now. So these are not things to trifle with depending on where you are inside of your trade. And most people are probably back here sub 20. So that was probably a lot of profit taking that I imagine. Because the go long signals here, short term, intermediate term, longer term. You're bullish in the short term, intermediate term, and longer term. The only concerning thing that you're seeing, I mean, is that you have a falling bear, but that's actually slightly bullish if you think about it long term. Because what you need is a reset. because that's exactly what we covered in the previous one. You're going to get a flipping of the signals really closely together when you're going to have a complete break and transition in the trend. I mean, this is Mara is an interesting chart and has a great setup for a lot of folks, but this isn't enough of a trend for me. I don't see it. I think that this is something that is going to give you a lot of activity if you're a swing trader, if you know how to play levels. These are not my specialties. If you're selling like volatility or condo, I don't know, doing all that crazy wonky shit with like options. That's for certain people. That's not for me. I look at this and I go, this is hard money to make. Like this looks like hard money to make inside of Mara, unless you're just going to be like a true, as some people would say, it's like a hodler. I mean, that boys and girls, I'm sorry to say, if you're holding, I mean, from the second essentially that it probably breaks, I'd probably say like right here in my system, maybe 22. That it broke 22, I'm out. Like I'm not even messing with this. Like, why would I even know the price of $5? If I'm in single digits, I fucked up. Like if I own Mara, if I own Mara anything above 40 and then I don't sell at 22 and I own it through those single digits and I'm right now praying, ooh, some of you might be watching. I wish you nothing but the best. But like you gotta know when it's done. Like that was done. That was done. And the reason why it was done was because like I'm just gonna look real quick at what my potential like get out signal would have been. Would I've even oh yeah, I would have definitely gotten out. So back in 2022, depending, yeah. Let me see here. Oh yeah, because you this definitely got destroyed in 2022. So I would have definitely gotten, yeah. I would have gotten out with some bruises. I would have gotten out with some bruises for sure. I probably wouldn't have gotten out except it was like 19, 20, somewhere in there. Because yeah, because this is the 44, and then I would have gotten out. I would have gotten out somewhere around 19. I mean, Mara would have murdered. I mean, I would have probably gotten out at 19 because my stop here would have been like 19. That would have been my highest stop. The other ones, I mean, again, maybe I would have gotten out 9/11. I don't know, but that was brutal. That was a brutal move. I don't know. I feel for anybody who's in that, is in that still, and really just doesn't know what to do. It's too late. You just got to hope that everything comes back. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? This is kind of a ramble, but I'm trying something new where you get a whole longer video as opposed to it being a bunch of shorter ones. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, subscribe to the new High newsletter. We send you 25 stocks to your inbox. Stocks bringing out to $5. Stocks bringing out to $5 to $20. Stocks bringing out to 1 year high. Stocks bringing out to all time highs. If you're still watching this, thank you. Please subscribe.